Operating officer for the Stafford Boxing Club Incorporated, our nonprofit organization, which is a yearly mentoring program for at-risk youth in the community.
So we will be able to teach financial literacy, communication, discipline, decision making, as well as campaigning for a premium education.
These are the foundation for the Stafford Boxing Club, these 20 mentees in our program here at Panola Way Elementary School. 20 years from now, Stafford Boxing mentees will be known across the world.
What's going on, everybody? Glad to have you all here today.
Happy New Year to everyone. We're glad that you tapped in with us for another episode of the Stafford Boxing Report.
Facts.
Stafford Boxing.
The making of champions.
No cap.
Don't play with it. Don't play with it.
Not at all.
Hello, everybody. I'm Lady Stafford.
You know I'm Stafford.
Stafford, a.k.a. Player Stafford.
You know it.
So, glad to be here.
Yeah, for real.
Glad to be here.
Man.
New year, starting off the new year strong.
Big strong, too.
Very strong. And prayers are going out for everybody. We know that things are going good for everybody out there, too.
Yes,
so,
Lord.
We're going to start off with the football player, Hamlin, Damar Hamlin.
Yeah,
He is now
real.
awake.
He's doing better.
He's doing much better.
Praise
He
God.
talked to his teammates. He made the muscle as well as the heart sign to them because they FaceTime.
Oh, yeah. And plus, they the first play of the game, Sheila.
Yeah.
Kickoff.
Facts.
Touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
Pew! Yes, sir.
So, prayers work.
You know what, Sheila? I really believe that them boys playing inspired football because of their teammate.
Yeah,
You know
I
what
do
mean?
too.
I
I
really
think they
do.
have a really good they have a great relationship. I think they really do love each other
Yeah, they do.
a lot.
They really
so I respect that. So prayers, glad. Also, what's going on today? I'm going to bring up Young Thug. He's still locked up here in Atlanta, Georgia, allegedly for a RICO case, gang affiliation.
Sheesh.
His partner, who he did a lot for, I believe also helped bring him into the game, Gunna, he's out. And a lot of the other affiliates are turning state evidence. So, and some are actually sticking by what they believe in, so they're not turning state evidence. So, Young Thug,
Man,
I
prayers,
don't know
prayers.
what to tell you, but I do know that Young Thug has helped a lot of people,
man, for real.
and he is passionate about a lot of things that he does.
In
And
the
he's
community.
also a great businessman
He
too.
really is. He really is.
He has a lot of things going on that I didn't even know he had going on, and I just thought all he did was just rap. That's not being disrespectful. I'm not saying that all rappers, that's all they do. It's probably because we don't hear the good things
Mm-hmm.
that people do. It's always the bad things that people do. And all this is just allegedly. We have to be careful what we say. Also, what I want to talk about just slightly is Oscar De La Hoya and his wife are now getting a divorce. They've been married for a strong, 16 years. His wife was trying to get into the entertainment industry for a singer. She wanted to be a singer. When she started having kids, she wanted to stop doing that and take care of the kids.
Most definitely respect.
And she was also there for Oscar when he was going through his substance abuse as well. So I know that marriages, relationships have their ups and they have their downs and they have their crazies and their uncrazies. But it's really unfortunate that when you have started something together and when it manifests and it's still going strong, for you to get a divorce. I don't know why they're getting divorced. I'm sorry that you all are getting divorced. I wish and pray that you all will reconcile with each other. Reconcile.
Yeah.
Excuse me, my first mistake of the year. So yeah, so prayers go out to
Thank
Oscar
God for our 14 years of
and his
marriage
wife.
and counting faithfully. I'm so grateful for mine. But you know, Sheila, oftentimes these happens. These type of things happen in life.
Good, I'm not the only one who made a mistake
I made
today.
a mistake too.
I'll do better.
So, but you know, like before you and I met, you know, we went through marriages. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And sometimes these marriages prepare us for the person that we are supposed to be with.
Facts.
I mean, just look at our relationship. You know what I mean? We've been together now married over 14 years, and we're going strong. And so we enter into a new year. And I also wanted to say something too. Speaking of that, I was looking in your eyes, and it brought me to something. So last week on the podcast, I had mentioned Jamal Bryant's wife. She's a beautiful woman. Your wife is attractive, but my wife is beautiful. You're beautiful inside and out, and I love you very much. For real, man.
Thank you.
And I apologize for that because I was just trying to give her props, but not in a way, because the only person that's beautiful is you.
I appreciate
to me.
It. Thank you.
Now, to other men, you know, his ex-wife may be beautiful, whatever.
I got you.
You know what I'm saying? But I wanted to clarify that.
Okay.
And no, my wife didn't tell me to say this or whatever. It was the Holy Spirit. And it was like, man, because I don't even like to compare my wife to no other. My wife up here, everybody else is God, my wife, and everybody else. So when it comes to that, I don't play. So I wanted to clarify today on our show that my wife is beautiful.
Thank you.
There are other good-looking women out there, but my wife is beautiful. And what makes her beautiful is not only her outside appearance, but her spirit. You know, it reminds me of a Ruth and Abigail. You know what I mean? And I really appreciate it. And I'm Boaz, no cap, for real. Not Poaz, but Boaz. It's a big difference, my boy. You feel me? Yes.
And I appreciate that. And what I want to say too, to all the women, it's okay to change. Change, I can say, is uncomfortable. It's supposed to be, because we can be too familiar with what we do, and sometimes we may not recognize what we do. So earlier on and now, my husband will tell me something and I don't see it. So what I do is, instead of getting an attitude, I'm disappointed, because I like to do my best, and everything that I do, I put my best and everything into it. I'm disappointed, and when certain situations come up, I'll pay attention. I'm attentive to the situation and how I respond and how I react. And I think that's something that we all should work on. And it's okay to get constructive criticism. If you're with somebody or you're hanging around people that don't do that, you may want to change your group of friends, because you can't always be around yes people. You're not going to grow, and you're not going to be the you or the better you that you can be. So I just want to say that. And just keep fact. and don't give up.
Nah.
You don't have to be like everybody else.
No reality couple.
Right.
Be a real couple. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Right.
For real. But moving along, baby, let's talk about Gervonta Davis and that fight Saturday, man.
Okay, and then I have some female fights that's coming up too. Now, we all knew Tank was going to win. We did. Some thought that Garcia was going to win. No, some actually thought that Garcia was going to take the win. I actually went back, and what I've been doing is I've been watching a lot of fights. So I'll go back. And I can see, in a way, why some people did think Garcia was going to win. But Tank is on a whole nother level. He is powerful. Like, his punches are powerful. His punches are precise. his confidence is woo. And I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I enjoyed the fight. And Garcia had said something in the corner. He said he couldn't see.
I couldn't see.
And I hope everything is okay
Tank
with
hit him with
him.
that left hook, bruh, and hit him right here on the side of that left side of his head. And when the bell rang, he was stunned. He just couldn't even. He was like, man.
I hope he's all right. I haven't heard anything. And then they had to actually stop the fight because of Gilly the Kid, Wallow, their family, their cousins, and then Meek Mill's crew. So their crews apparently were getting into it.
It was Meek Mill, but it wasn't Wallow and Gilly the Kid, because Wallow and Gilly the Kid and Meek Mills are from Philadelphia.
Yeah.
So they were arguing against some other boxer. It wasn't against.
It wasn't against each other. Okay.
It was, yeah. So
correction.
Yeah. So I thought that Gervonta Davis looked very sharp. He had, like my wife said, he had a lot of confidence in what he was doing. It was just a great performance that I thought. Gervonta, the first 2 rounds, it was about filling each other out. Then the third round is when the gloves, everything, the offense began to open up. I was impressed by Gervonta Davis' footwork. His footwork was phenomenal. He also went, different styles. I like when he did this, the kind of peekaboo. Yeah, he switched up very well. And Gervonta Davis have enormous power in each hand, but his left hand is more powerful than his right hand. But both of them are knockout, arms whatsoever. And Gervonta Davis really showed me a lot. He showed me how to lock in and focus on the task at hand. And the task at hand was this fight. And this fight was going to lead to another fight. So according to the reports that I've been reading online, everything is a goal for him and Ryan Garcia, which will be a mega fight. This will be one of the big fights of the year. I think that this is something that the boxing fans deserve. One of the things I also like about Gervonta Davis, by him being independent, is like now he can fight whomever he want to fight. But it depends on him making sure that he take care of business. And the title of this podcast show is about domestic violence.
Yes.
And so
domestic violence. No.
Yeah. So allegedly, Gervonta Davis was in some domestic altercation with his baby mama. And I don't know all the facts. I wasn't there. I just know what was reported. And I wanted to say to Gervonta Davis, like, big dog, you got a lot of people that's depending on you. You are in a great position in life, not only financially, but also your legacy. And one of the things I do love about what you got going on, Gervonta Davis, is your trainer. Your trainer been with you ever since you were knee-high to a grasshopper. And he was able to lock you in to focus on what's at task. And so as a boxer, I done seen it over and over again. These boxers get into domestic violence with their significant others, be it their girlfriend or their wives or whatsoever. And you got to understand that when you become a professional boxer, that your hands are considered legal weapons. You feel me? And so it's important, man, to just surround yourself with some good people, man. And man, please don't get in no trouble, man. I pray that this thing works out for both parties, because at the end of the day, your daughter is involved with this, and to see her parents go clashing head to head, it's like, it's not healthy for that child development. But that's not my child, that's your child. And as an OG, I can just tell you from life experiences that, hey man, just be careful around your circles. And sometimes it's just better to walk away and to remove yourself from a situation, because it sometimes what may not seem true may seem accurate and believable based upon what's being said. Like that 911 call, it was just, I don't know, it was crazy. But man, listen, bro, man, you have a big fan. You are one of the few people in boxing history that can sell out arenas. You are considered a top professional boxer as a paid per view athlete. You making a lot of money, bro, and also you paving the way for other boxers coming behind you to have the opportunity. So just be mindful of that. And so I just want to say, man, you done a great job with, you know, blocking out the distractions that you were facing, able to focus and get the win. And I also, Sheila, I also like that Jim Gray, after the fight, when he interviewed Javante Davis, and he didn't throw up,
Right.
he didn't mention none of that or
Yes.
anything like that.
Yes.
And that was real
Yes.
class act by Jim Gray to not, bring that,
Mhm.
domestic situation up, man. So that was,
Yes.
that was top shelf. So I respect that.
Yeah, that was a good thing because it really didn't. It didn't need to be brought up during that time, but I don't want anybody to think that we are not supportive because, as my husband knows, I was a victim of domestic violence, even though I did fight back, but I've been a victim of domestic violence. So
Not with me though. Not with.
I was just about to say.
Make that clear, my boy.
No, I was about to say that. So I know the struggle and I know what it is that you have to go through. But like my husband said, walk away. But to the women, because it's not just the men, there's women that also put their hands on men as well. And it's not talked about as much as the men. So, women, keep your hands to yourself. Unless you are in a situation where you need to protect yourself, then yes. But if you're arguing with your husband, with your man, your boyfriend, your child's father, even if he says something, that does not give you the right to put your hands on him. And then, yes, the proper procedure is he should just walk away. But if we're going to be real, some men are not going to walk away because they're going to, in their mind, they're going to be like, look, you hit a man, then I'm going to hit you back like a man. So just keep your hands to yourself. It's too much going on anyway. And then we're not here to judge anybody and we're not here to condemn anybody. We all make mistakes. We get it. We just want to come and just send some positive words to you so it'll stop and it won't happen again.
Yeah, because I thought that was going to be another situation like how Mike Tyson and Robin Givens were back in the day, and how that situation derailed Mike Tyson's focus. It derailed his career. Mm-hmm. It just went in a very, I don't know, man.
He really loved that girl.
He loved that girl too.
He did.
And I'm pretty sure Javante Davis have strong feelings for his baby mother. You're going to always have some type of feeling, some type of bond towards the woman that bears your child. And I just hope that they can resolve that issue and not get it to a level where now the court system got to be involved with it. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So anytime the courts are involved with situations, you never know. He may have to do some, I don't know. I just hope that they can resolve this and move on.
I believe it can be. I believe that it's going to be resolved.
I hope so, man, because we don't need any more negative images about our Black male athletes in the community. We have suffered enough. Our community has suffered enough, and we're trying to build so that we can be something somewhat positive for our youth. Our youth are desperately looking for something that they can look up to and be empowered to make a change, because the hood, the community is changing our youth, and it's not for the better, it's for the worse. And we just need some Black leaders, male and female, to not be selfish, but to think about our youth, because our youth is our future.
100.
For sure.
There was another incident, we're not going to talk too much about it, but with Dana White.
Oh, yeah.
And his wife, they were celebrating, bringing in the New Year's. They had been drinking, and they both put their hands on each other. And Dana White, he has apologized and has spoken about it before. So alcohol can play a major part in making wrong decisions. Drug substance abuse plays a part in making wrong decisions. So let's keep our hands to ourselves and just show love
And you
and
know
work on
what?
ourselves and spread love into the community.
And you know what? I really have a great deal of my respect for Dana White was that he showed the video to his kids, because at the end of the day, that was what the focus was about. From the situations that he first went to his kids, say, hey man, this is what me and your mother was doing. It wasn't right. I hope y'all can forgive us. We'll be a better role model. I apologize to your wife. Me and your mother, we've been together for a long time, and for us to be caught in this moment, bringing in the New Year's acting a fool, and knowing that they got cameras everywhere, and so that we don't want this to affect you. And so our first responsibility is to come to you and tell you guys what happened. And that's a family thing. And I really salute Dana White for making sure that he go to his kids and address the situation, so that their kids can be alert of what's going on, and let them make their decisions, and let them express themselves how disappointed they are for their parents to be acting like this, knowing that they have a lot of responsibilities, a lot of people that look up to them. They have a lot of influence in the community. And Dana White is one of the leaders in entertainment industry, dealing with the
UFC.
Yeah, UFC. And he's doing a great job. Plus, he got a great
Yes.
podcast.
Oh, he does too.
He got a great podcast. And every time I watch his podcast, I always learn something. And that's one of the things about me and Sheila. We always watching and reading material so that we can be a better host and co-host for the Stafford Boxing Report. So Dana White, man, I hope you and your wife are working on that situation. And if no one ever told you, I want to say thank you so much for first going to your kids and addressing this, instead of jumping on the podcast or some type of media platform and addressing this to the world. But you did the first step and addressed this and kept it inside your home.
And that's real smart too, because that also prepares the kids, because they're going to hear about it from their peers and when they go out. And now they'll be better off to know how to address it in the proper way and not have those emotions go off the chain. So I can see that. I like that.
Mhm.
So check this out. Carolyn Dubois has called out Michaela.
Mm.
She wants a fight with Michaela, but Michaela, she said, you may have to wait. I have bigger fish to fry. I think that just said a lot right there. So Carolyn Dubois, she wants to get in the ring with you, Michaela. So we'll see what happens with that. But I had already talked about Michaela and what she has going on, or what she wants to have going on, in the last podcast. And you know what? It's really getting exciting because the females, they calling each other out.
Yeah, it's starting to get a little lit a little bit. And you know what? I like when Caroline Dubois, when she come out, her song is Sweet Caroline. Boom,
she's
boom,
coming.
Boom. Yeah,
she's coming. So
Yeah,
I'm
coming.
ready. I am a fan. I can actually say I am a fan of hers. And I've watched some of her training too. She's on point.
Her whole family is supporting her, and that's what. And that's the thing that I really like about some of these athletes that are fortunate enough to have their family to support them. You know what I mean? Because it gives them an extra incentive to really put forth the discipline to become that person, because they thinking about, man, how fortunate I am for the opportunity, but also how fortunate I am to have my family support me too.
That is true. They'll go even harder.
Hard in the paint.
Harder.
Waka flocka.
So Amanda and Erica Cruz is the co-main event for February 4th.
Okay.
Now, I love both women. They both have skills, but I have to say, I have to go with Amanda. Amanda is going to do what it is that she does. And one of the things with Amanda is during the first round, she's already going off. Where a lot of times fighters in general, they're just trying to see what's going on and do,
Figure
do
each
their
other out.
do their feints and keep their distance to see who's going to do
Just figure the fight
when
out.
and what. So you might want to take that out, Erica, because Erica doesn't start right away.
No.
Erica does not start right away. And I also want to say for the women, can I please see more head movements? I don't see any head movements. Y'all leave yourselves wide open.
Yeah, y'all got to stop that, man. That's an easy target when your head is stationary. You got to. That's why I love that peekaboo, man. Because
Yeah.
that peekaboo, it's about head movement and boy, look.
And
Boy.
then the undercard is Alicia and McCallum. I've watched both of these fighters. They both have some very good skills, but I have to go with Alicia on this one.
And I think I'm gonna go Alicia too.
Alicia got this
Yeah,
one.
I think so too. And shout out to our sponsor for the Stafford Boxing Club, Walmart. We really appreciate your financial contribution to the Stafford Boxing Club, our mentoring program at Panola Way Elementary School. And a lot of times when great ideas start, they start off in a humble situation, a humble environment. And we are very fortunate. You know what, ladies and gentlemen, we have our own classroom. So when we go to Panola Way, we have, it's what, 111?
Mhm.
111? Yeah. So we have our own classroom for our kids. And so it's very important to us to get sponsors. And so today we wanted to thank our sponsor, Walmart.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you for the grant that you provided for the Stafford Boxing Club 501c3 mentoring program. Wanted to show some love to you on the Stafford Boxing Report podcast show hosted by Talkin Fight Big Dogs.
There's also another fight that's happening on February 4th. She's a fighter, and I watched her too. Ocean Daru. She's from Belgium. And then we have Sarah Achiong. She's from Kenya. Now, I watched Sarah. She does have some skills, but one thing about her, it's like she turned unorthodox. And I want to suggest something to you, Sarah, that I saw. Stop leaving yourself open and try not to hit your opponent like you're hitting them with a hammer. That's why you receive that jab. So I just want to say that to you and stay just a tad bit more focused, because there are times that I can tell that you were distracted. Why you were somewhat distracted, I don't know. That's another fight that's coming. And Ocean, she's a monster. I watched one of her fights, not just because she did a straight KO right away. This young lady does have some power in her punches. She'll move her head a little bit from time to time, but not that much. Her footwork is great. Her feet just seem to always be planted. I do watch the feet a lot. And sometimes I can tell with certain fighters when your feet are planted and when they're not planted. Now, I know when you're doing an uppercut that your heel is going to be up off the ground. But I'm just talking about when you're doing other certain moves. It's just work on that. And I also want to talk about Kim Clavel. She's from Canada, and Jessica Plateau from Mexico. That's another fight that's happening on the 4th as well. So, like I said, in 2022, our last
23.
no, I said, like I
Oh,
said,
22.
our last podcast in 2022, that the females, the women athletes are really coming out and they're doing their thing and they're having more fights too. I'm just ready for Clarissa.
Sheila, you looking good in your Stafford boxing
You know,
dress.
I feel good. I feel good. Maybe I feel real good to the point where I'm somewhat distracted a little bit today.
Why is that?
I just have a peace. I have a peace that I have not felt in a long time, and I'm just very grateful. And I woke up. I've been excited all day today. So it's like I'm here, but it's like I'm not here.
Well, I wanted to talk about something because it's very dear to my heart. And one of the things about myself and Sheila is that we read a lot of books. And one of the books that I've read that have been very insightful, if I may say, is it's a book called, got to excuse that. It's called The Miseducation of a Negro by Carter G. Woodson. And Carter G. Woodson was an African American researcher. He received his PhD from Harvard University. As a matter of fact, he was the second African American to receive his PhD behind W.E.B. Du Bois. Excuse me. So one of the things that I felt the need to talk about that I see that is happening in our community is the it's like like in our community we have so many churches. I mean, you can go like a mile down the road and it's maybe about 4 or 5 churches, and I don't understand that. I really don't. I don't understand why we have all these churches in our communities. And one of the things that I read in this book, and it seems like it's relevant today, is that in the book, he described the black man as a Negro man. So the Negro man would dress up as a preacher, and he would go to the edge of the street, the corner, and what he would do, he would preach the word of God. And then so people would give offerings, right? So from that offering, he would go and shoot dice with it, right? And that's what I kind of see in our community today. So what I'm saying is like, you see all these churches and all these people work hard. They go and they work extremely hard on these, at these jobs. I call it the plantation. And so they gather their money and they go to church and they give the church either their offerings or their tithes or whatever. And so the church take this money. And so the church uh, administrative, I know that you have an overhead, you have expenses, you have to keep the lights on, etc. But it's just funny to me how we don't, all the money that have come through the black church, we don't have a gas station, grocery store. We have nothing, and so that money doesn't circulate back into the black community. Once it's collected, it goes outside of the black community. And I don't have a problem with doing business with other people, but I do have a problem that we don't do business with each other. So how can the black dollar become powerful in our community when it's collected, but it's being spent outside our community? And so there needs to be some accountability with black leaders who, quote unquote, call to preach the word of God. And I'm just disappointed how our youth don't have the respect of the preacher or the pastor like how when I was coming up. Now you have entertainers, rappers, singers saying things in their songs about the pastor and not having that same type of respect that they used to have. So I'm trying to figure out how can we as a community come together and support each other. Let me give you an example. So when we were coming up, we had like clubs and different type of organizations in the community that would give us outlets so that we can go instead of us being in the streets. Now everything is commercialized, and so we look at ourselves as the Stafford Boxing Club mentoring program, right? And so we feel that we are offering our community a way for our kids to be exposed to things and use the sport of boxing as a tool to impact the mind of how a boxer address its training and opposing fighter when they're in the ring. And so that's kind of how life is. Life is like that. You have to be conditioning your mind and your spirit to be able to deal with the ups and downs of life. And so that's what the Stafford Boxing Club is about. We're about enhancing our kids using the sport of boxing mentally as well as physically, and also focusing on financial literacy. I think that's so important. We always talk about getting the bag, but once we get the money, we fumble the money. So today, me and Sheila, we went to a bank in here in our community, and we want them to partner with us so that we can have the kids to come in and open up savings accounts. And then we want to instill in these kids about having a good work ethic, right? So once we open up the savings account, the kids will have to do chores around the house or whatever, and they will have to save that money. And then once a month, when we come back to the bank, then they can deposit it. So I'm trying to get these kids to have an understanding about saving, and I'm also giving them an opportunity to learn about working hard, because in life you have to work hard. You have to have good work ethic. Me and Sheila would not be here today if it wasn't, our work ethic. Like we constantly working and trying to get better at our craft. So I just want the Black church to not be used as a vehicle to take advantage of the Black community. I see so many people that would give their lives to the church, not knowing that they facing an eviction, not knowing that their lights about to be cut off, and then the money is taken. And I don't know, man. It just, I'm just tired of, seeing not all Black preachers, but a lot of them take advantage of the Black community as it relates to that. And I also believe that we need to do more in the community as far as the churches. What I mean by that, every year we do Thanksgiving drive, then you have a food pantry, then you have Christmas and so forth. I was doing research and I came across this preacher out of Arizona. His name was Dr. Bernard Black, and Dr. Bernard Black sat on the board of education in Arizona. And he was a pastor, he was a preacher, but he was also a businessman too. So he had a construction company. So his construction company built a lot of homes in Arizona. My point is this: is that we have to go beyond just the holiday seasons and stuff like that. We need to be active, sitting on the board of education seats. We need more of our preachers visible in the community, being on different types of boards. There may be some, but there's not enough. And we need to rekindle that trust in the community where our youth will come to the church instead of going to the games. So our youth will rather join a game than go to a church or trust the pastor, because the pastor has violated that trust. And so I just think that there needs to be a shift. There needs to be a change in how we do things as it relates to the Black community. Because now that COVID has come and gone, you see a lot of storefront churches that was active, they no longer. So to me, if you've been called to preach the word of God, I honestly believe that um, it will be debt free. You want to say something, babe?
No,
What's wrong?
nothing. I'm sorry, nothing.
Babe, what's wrong, babe?
Nothing. I think my thing is acting up. That's why I'm tripping right now. Yeah, I'm not really feeling too good.
Hey, listen. You want to share that?
Yes.
So, my wife is going through menopause.
That's why I'm a little not myself today.
Yeah, hey, but you know what? I'm here to support her, and she's taking care of herself. I'm making sure that she take care of herself. She's eating the right things. She's taking the right things, but that's just something that women go through. So this is a phase of our journey. This is a phase of our marriage that I'm having to deal with. It's just the menopause.
But you know what? It's really not that bad. Like, now I'm somewhat dizzy. That's part of the symptoms. And then when I was speaking, I did forget. I forgot what I was supposed to say, not because I wasn't prepared, but I'm very hot right now. I am sweating. So
you want to cut this?
So I'm a little dizzy, so I'm not really feeling too good. So sorry about that right now. That's why I kept on going like this, trying to hold myself up.
Hey, so look, Pete, this out. This is what we about to do.
And now I'm starting to get emotional now. So I don't want to get emotional. So I think we should just go ahead and just cut it short right now.
Yeah. So listen, see, that's about the realness of our podcast. Like, we dealing with things outside of this podcast, and we want to share the show you guys how authentic. But I meant what I said about the black church, man. Hey, man, we need to do better, man. You know, we need to tighten it up, man. We really do, man, because our youth is lost, and the church used to be on fire. Like, I used to love to go to church.
Me too.
And now it's like, man, it's like you got so many doctrines, so many. I mean, it's just crazy, man. And I just see us just compromising for the sake of the almighty dollar, bro.
But you know what? I believe that the congregation that has been going to a specific church or church for a while, it seems that they are now relying more so on everything that the pastor says and not being in their word. Because yes, hopefully the pastor is anointed and he's telling the congregation and the people around the world, if it's being televised, the truth. But you still should go back to your word and read your word for yourself, because you have to have an understanding for yourself so you'll be able to know what is real and what is not real. And also for those who are new, who are coming in, walking through the doors. And a lot of times it might be their first time walking through the doors or even coming to a church. And what I do want to say is that if you're wherever you may be using your gifts and talents at, whether if you're at the door and you're greeting people who come in, be nice. Because a lot of times when the ushers or whomever else has an attitude, and then you can treat people disrespectfully,
and you don't know what they're going through,
and then they will not want to come back.
They don't want to come back.
Like for me, when I was going to church, I didn't know that Jesus existed until the age of 30. And that's really the first time that I ever read a Bible. When I started going to church, I was having some issues with the women at the church. The only thing I wanted to do was hear the word, and yes, I did read my word, but I also wanted to serve. And they used to give me a problem. They wouldn't let me serve. So, of course, I cried. And I said, God, I just want to serve you. Even if I have to serve you in the closet, I'll do it. Nobody has to know what I'm doing. But I did end up being able to serve, and it was in the kitchen. And they were having some type of event, and they had it like laid out as a buffet style. So I was actually able to serve that way.
See what I'm saying? My wife talking about serving, and that's what's missing in our community. Serving. Me and my wife, we're serving these kids in our mentoring program, and that's what's going to propel us to a leadership, right, position. Is our servanthood, servant leadership. That's what Jesus was. Jesus was a servant leader, and that's what our community has got away from. It's all about me, 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 my career, da 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 da. And I'm reading this book. I'm reading several books, but in this book, it talks about like you go through life and you chasing things, and when it comes to your time to go to that next level, you realize what you chasing for wasn't even worth it. You didn't make an impact. You didn't serve nobody. And so, man, we need to come together. We need to focus on our youth, man. Our youth needs us. Let's not abandon our youth. Please, y'all. We need that. When I used to read and I used to watch videos and still do about how the community was able to be an asset for the youth. And that's how they learn things. Now our kids not learning anything. They are being destructive. They going to school, they coming to be a disturbance to the classroom. They fighting. They doing all crazy stuff. Not that it has not been going on, but it's going to a different level and it's out of control.
You're sleeping in class.
And sleeping in class, I'm like, if you sleeping in class, you might as well stay home. So education is very dear to us, and we are very passionate about that. And so we get an opportunity to introduce our we get an opportunity to introduce the Stafford Boxing Club mentoring program through a school system. And so in this school system, we hope that we will have an impact. Our impact and our focus now is about the test scores, right? If the kids improve with their test scores, more resources can be allocated to this elementary school in this district. And so that's where our focus is at. Our focus is about helping our youth because our youth needs us. We need y'all. So any type of support that you feel that you being led and placed on your heart to support the Stafford Boxing Club, we would greatly appreciate it. Again, we want to thank Walmart for the grant, and we look forward to a long relationship with Walmart. And a lot of times, these nonprofit organizations, Sheila, they done bad when people bless them with a grant.
Right.
They did bad, and it make it bad for other people like us. But we know what God got for us is for us, so we're not tripping about that. But it puts a cloud on nonprofit organizations. So we're trying to be a good steward, and we're gonna end this podcast show because my wife not feeling good, and I need to take care of my wife. But this is all I got. My wife is everything to me. You feel me? And I don't play. So with that being said, we about to get up out of here. We want to thank you for your time. Thank you, Sheila, for just giving a good report about the female boxing and the boxing industry. Don't cry, baby. My wife about to cry. So look, Stafford Boxing.
The making of champions.
No cap. I love you, babe. It's going